Before Memphis rappers were winning Oscars, before Gotti was building CMG, before Young Dolph turned down every major label, the city's sound was born in the streets, not in studios, not in boardrooms, in cassette tapes sold out of trunks, in smoke-filled clubs, and in neighborhoods where the music was just as raw as the life behind it. This is the real origin story of Memphis rap. And at the very center of it all was one man with a microphone and a stack of homemade tapes, DJ Spanish Fly.
DJ Spanish Fly. Oh, what?
I started DJing at this club called Club No Name. I was playing those underground songs that the radio would not play, and if it didn't have the 808 beat, leave it over there.
Before there was 3-6 Mafia, before Player Fly or Project Pat, there was DJ Spanish Fly. In the late 80s, Fly was the man who turned Memphis nightclubs into laboratories for a brand new sound. He wasn't signed to a major label. He wasn't on the radio. His music lived on cassette tapes, copied by hand and passed through the city like secrets. Spanish Fly's mixes blended funk, gangsta talk, and hypnotic 808s. The blueprint of Memphis rap was born right there, inside smoky clubs and on hissy tapes that never left the streets. While Fly was setting the tone, another pioneer was about to take Memphis even further.
Deadly ass verses, we dropping this shit like bombs. These niggas be talking that shit and they wanna run up, but they know they can't get nothing.
Gangsta Pat, the first local rapper to land a major record deal. If Spanish Fly gave Memphis its underground sound, Gangsta Pat gave the city its first taste of the mainstream. In 1991, Pat signed with Atlantic Records, making him the first rapper from Memphis to land a major label deal. His album Deadly Verses became an underground classic, and even though the industry never fully backed him, in Memphis, he was proof that local voices could compete with anybody in the country. Pat's raw flow and dark production carried the same street energy as Fly, but he had distribution power behind him, and that meant Memphis was officially on the map. But Memphis wasn't just about one artist making it big. In Orange Mound, two young MCs were about to tell their own story and change Southern rap forever.
Born in the mound, down deep in the south, with the brothers with the curls that go teeth in their mouth.
Enter 8-Ball and MJG. While Gangsta Pat broke through with a major label, Memphis still needed a voice that could carry the weight of the South. That came out of Orange Mound, one of America's first all-black neighborhoods, and one of the roughest. In 1993, 8-Ball and MJG dropped Comin' Out Hard. This wasn't just another Memphis tape. It was a blueprint for Southern rap. Ball and G mixed pimp tales, hustler stories, and the everyday grind into a sound that demanded respect. For the first time, Memphis rap wasn't just local, it was national, and Orange Mound was on the map.
With you and you know this, slip on the latex and dive in, swish.
But if 8-Ball and MJG gave Memphis respect, 3-6 Mafia gave it an identity. Dark, raw, and dangerous, their sound would define an entire generation. By the mid-90s, Memphis had respect, but it still didn't have a sound the world could point to. That changed with 3-6 Mafia. DJ Paul, Juicy J, Lord Infamous, Koopsta Nika, Gangsta Boo, and Crunchy Black created something darker, louder, and more dangerous than anything else in the South. Their early tapes like Smoked Out, Lost Out, and Mystic Styles pushed horrorcore to the forefront. Chants, 808s, and devil shit themes that gave Memphis a new identity. Songs like Tear the Club Up were so wild that clubs in Memphis banned DJs from playing them because fights would break out every night. 3-6 Mafia didn't just give Memphis a sound, they gave it an attitude. But even as 3-6 Mafia built a movement, not everybody was riding with them. One of their own broke away and dropped one of the most infamous diss tracks in Memphis history.
Ooh, that common grinding, please, I common grinding. Ooh, that common grinding, please, I common grinding.
That man was Player Fly. While 3-6 Mafia was defining Memphis, not everybody stayed in the circle. Playa Fly started off close with the crew, but money, control, and creative differences pulled him away. Then came the diss.
Triple bitch, Mafia, Mafia, Mafia. Please, I come and gun and 3-6 running.
Triple Bitch Mafia. In Memphis, that track hit like a bomb. Suddenly, the city was divided, and Fly became the voice of independence. His music was slower, soulful, and deeply Memphis. Tracks like Nobody Needs Nobody are still quoted to this day. Playa Fly proved you didn't need the machine behind you to be a legend. All you needed was the streets. But while Playa Fly held down independence, another voice in Memphis was taking the underground even darker.
North Memphis got this shit sold up. South Memphis got this shit sold up.
Tommy Wright III and the 10 Wanted Men. If Playa Fly stood for independence, Tommy Wright III stood for the underground. He recorded in living rooms with $50 microphones and tape decks that hissed with static. But that only made his music feel more real. With his crew, the 10 Wanted Men, Tommy rapped about robberies, stick-ups, and survival in Memphis. These weren't just stories, they were headlines. His lo-fi tapes like Ashes to Ashes, Dust to Dust turned into cult classics, passed around the city like forbidden material. Years later, kids on SoundCloud and YouTube would rediscover those tapes and build entire genres like funk from his blueprint. Tommy Wright III was never mainstream, but he didn't need to be. In Memphis, he was a legend of the shadows. While Tommy Wright ruled the underground, another name was rising, one that would soon define Memphis street rap for the 2000s.
Ski, mask over my skull. Papers in my mouth cause I'm real. Bitch, it's a house call.
Project Pat. When you talk about Memphis legends, you can't skip Project Pat. He wasn't just Juicy J's older brother. He was the voice of the streets. In 2001, Pat dropped Mr. Don't Play, Everything's Workin'. That album became a Southern rap Bible. Songs like Chicken Head, Gorilla Pimp, and Don't Save Her still ring out more than 20 years later. Project Pat's cadence was slow, deliberate, and unforgettable. The kind of flow you can hear echoed in Gucci Mane, Jeezy, even the Migos. While 3-6 Mafia gave Memphis its sound, Pat gave it swagger. He made the hustler lifestyle rhyme in a way everybody could feel. And for the first time, Memphis rap wasn't just cult or underground, it was culture. By now, Memphis had pioneers, legends, and mainstream stars. But in the 2000s, the city split into two lanes. Yo Gotti building an empire called CMG, and Young Dolph holding it down independent with Paper Route Empire. That rivalry would define modern Memphis.
Fuck, nigga, it ain't a secret. You know this my city, nigga.
By the 2000s, Memphis rap was changing. The underground had given the city its identity, but now came the business. Yo Gotti, from Ridgecrest Apartments in North Memphis, turned his mixtape grind into a full-blown empire. He dropped tapes like Da Dope Game 2, Da Rap Game, and Cocaine Music, building a reputation as a hustler who lived what he rapped. Out of that grind came CMG, Collective Music Group. What started as a local label soon grew into a powerhouse, signing artists like Moneybagg Yo, Black Youngsta, 42 Doug, ESTG, and Glorilla. Gotti went from neighborhood mixtape king to CEO, proving that Memphis wasn't just about raw street rap, it was about empire building. But for every empire, there's a rival. Across town, another king was rising, one who refused to ever sign a deal. Young Dolph and the rise of Paper Route Empire.
Supposed to be chasing money, but you chasing bitches. Real bosses don't talk, we just sit back and listen.
If Yo Gotti built an empire with major label backing, Young Dolph built his from scratch. Born in Chicago but raised in South Memphis, Dolph turned down every record deal that came his way. Instead, he started Paper Route Empire, an independent label that stood on loyalty and self-made hustle. Dolph dropped King of Memphis in 2016, a bold title that wasn't just an album name, it was a declaration. His street anthems and luxury rap made him a hero to fans who saw him as proof that you didn't have to sign your life away to make it. But that independence came with consequences. Dolph's refusal to bow to the industry or to CMG fueled one of Memphis's deadliest rivalries. Paper Route Empire wasn't just a label, it was a statement. Memphis could stand on its own. With Gotti and CMG on one side and Dolph with PRE on the other, Memphis entered a new era, two empires at war. An era that would end in tragedy, but leave a legacy no city can erase. From DJ Spanish Fly's cassette tapes to Project Pat's street anthems, Memphis built its rap empire brick by brick. By the 2010s, the city had two kings, Yo Gotti running CMG and Young Dolph holding down Paper Route Empire. But Memphis isn't big enough for two empires. What started as competition in the streets would explode into one of hip-hop's deadliest rivalries. A war that changed Memphis forever.
Hey.
Plug talk.
You're looking at the plug.
Understand how the fuck my plug talk.
Ooh, you know I got it.
Brought to you by Daily Plug.
Yeah.